In this lesson, we're going to continue to work with images, and more specifically, we're going to look at some techniques that we can use for pulling a circle from an image and calculating the diameter, center, and area of the circles. And so we'll start by reading in an image called radiusdots.png. That should be in your zip folder containing all of these resource files. And so once we've read in the image, it's displayed here, and we have a blue, red, and green dot images. And so now we want to extract the blue circle from our image. And so in order to do that, we'll declare a new variable, set it equal to our image that we've read in. And we want to pick out the pixels that are blue. And so essentially, if the value is less than 128 for red and green and greater than 128 for blue, our third layer. This denotes that we have that the majority of the pixels are of the blue layer, because we're setting it to be we're wanting values greater than 128. And so we'll apply the appropriate mask to each layer, and then we want to use that to extract only the blue circle that we have. And so we can do that by setting the mask, the knot of the mask, to be 255, and that will show our blue image. And so now what we want to do is convert our blue circle to a double for reading. And so once we do that, we have our blue circle that is set, and we do it for grayscale. We do grayscale for edge detection. And so now we'll have our gray layer, and we're going to set that equal to, cast it to a unsigned integer 8, and we're going to get the values for all of our red, green, and blue, and divide it by 3. And so then we have our grayscale layer for each layer, red, green, and blue, in our circle. And we have our grayscale image now. And so now what we want to do is use the grayscale to provide for simplification of our calculations. So we'll get the rows and columns of our image, and then we want to sum up the values. And then now what we want to do is find the sum of the grayscale layers that are less than 255 times the rows. And so for this calculation, what we're able to do is, so we'll get the columns, and then we'll also get the width as well. And so for the columns, we have a 1/400 vector, and for the width, we have 400. And so now what we want to do is find the center based off of the X and Y coordinates of our grayscale layer. And so we see that the center on the Y-axis is going to be at 285, and on the X-axis is going to be at 564. So that denotes our center. And now what we want to do is use appropriate calculations to calculate the circle area. So we're going to round the value, and we're going to do the width divided by 2 squared times pi to get our circle area. And then we're also going to print out the diameter and other appropriate components. And so once we've executed this, we print out the diameter. We say the blue circle is located at 564, 285. That's denoting the center. It has a diameter of 400 pixels, and in an area of 125,664 pixels squared. and it takes up 13.4% of the image. And so that means that this gray scale this circle is only taking up 13.4% of the entire image when you consider all of the rows and columns that are associated with it. And so this is a technique that can also be applied to not only the blue circles, but also to the original circles for red and green. And so that can be a appropriate exercise to consider to pull out specific shapes from a image, do appropriate calculations to find the center of the image and use that to calculate the area of the circle in question.